This is Ryan, and he is the first arrival in front of the Toronto Stock Exchange building, which is at 120 King Street West. That's this tower that we're looking at right here that goes up and up and up and up and up, and that's where all the money modules are busy playing their games. We're waiting here for the rest of the people to arrive. There's supposed to be, at 3:30 today, a rally and protest against the unethical Canadian mining industry's practices worldwide.
U.S. some people were filming the Federal Reserve in Kansas City, and some security guards came from across the street to tell them that they were going to be arrested if they didn't leave. And they were on a public monument when they were doing the filming.
Oh, what's going on here is actually, I don't know what these folks are doing here, but I'm actually the PR rep for the TSX. And we just like everyone to know that your money is absolutely safe. There is absolutely zero human rights abuses going on. We have 100% guarantee on that. And plus, why would you want to undermine, you know, the kind of cornerstone of Canada, which is human rights abuses and colonialism? Or ignore that last whole part. We're doing this for the greater good of society, and we share the wealth with everyone. Everyone gets a piece of the TSX pie, except for, you know, probably poor people or anyone. And anyway, we're doing a really good thing here, and we want you to trust us with our money in the future. Trust the TSX! Woo! Sorry.
That's an interesting costume.
Oh,
what
thanks.
does it represent?
Okay, well, I'm a bride, and I'm on a pile of waste, because it's meant to represent, and we need to straighten it out to make it look better, but it's meant to represent the 20 tons of waste that goes into creating every wedding ring.
20 tons of waste for one wedding ring?
Yeah, it's an impressive amount.
That's incredible.
On average, newly mined gold averages about 79 tons of waste per ounce of gold. And the craziest thing about that waste is that it's not benign rock waste or organic waste. That waste is largely gold ore. And in the ore bodies in which you find gold, you also find sulfides, arsenic, heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, mercury. And so when you take that ore body and ground it up to a powder fine consistency and drench it with a cyanide solution, which is what they do, the exposure to air and water turns the sulfides into sulfuric acid. That creates acid mine drainage. Not only is that dangerous and toxic on its own, but that also accelerates the leaching process of all the other heavy metals from that ore body. And it makes its way into river systems, polluting air and water.
And where are they doing this?
They're doing this all over the world. Very recently, there was a toxic spill in Tanzania, just a couple months ago. And what happened was, after heavy rains, there was toxic spills, and the Mara River, which feeds into Lake Victoria, had all this toxics in it and witnessed lots of fish kills, and 5 cows died fairly instantly. Then, within a week, Barrick came out and said, "Oh, it's fine, the water, the pH is back to normal, everything is recovered from the spill."
And this is from Barrick Gold?
This is from Barrick Gold, Peter Monk's company. Yeah. And so 2 weeks after Barrick Gold makes this announcement, 300 cows are dead and 30 people are dead. And many more have skin rashes and skin diseases. The government of Tanzania, they're the ones that had to step in and say people should not be drinking this water anymore. They're the ones that had to ban water use. It wasn't Barrick that did it. Barrick said that everything was fine.
What are the people going to drink then?
What?
What will the people drink if they can't drink their water?
Water is hopefully provided to them by the government.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. One would hope. But, you know, at least that they know that water is toxic is the first step. You know, Barrick's lies, you know, I think that it will work out against them. And I hope someone brings a lawsuit against Barrick Gold. Because them telling everyone that the water was fine, they're responsible for the deaths of 300 cows and 30 people. I mean, 30 people dropped dead. It takes a lot to kill a person. We're pretty resilient.
Sure does. sure does.
through poison.
I wonder how many people are going to die long term over this.
Long term, I mean, you know, there's so many direct deaths related to mining, and then there's so many indirect deaths related to mining.
Exactly.
I mean, look at cancer, look at uranium mining. 75% of the radioactivity remains in the tailings after you mine for uranium.
75%.
75%. Of course, this is
And what do they do with
pre-enrichment.
that?
This is pre-enrichment, but that just gives you, you know, an idea. I had a talk with somebody. She's part of the Black Hills Defenders in South Dakota, and there's a lot of old uranium mines where she lives. And she says that she enters communities where all the elders are in their 40s because everyone has died of cancer
Wow.
and uranium-related diseases.
That is incredible. So basically, you're talking about a lifespan of 40 years instead of what the Canadian average is somewhere around 75 to 80. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
And that's going to be in the tailings
Get
forever.
the whole.
And that waste is largely toxic because where you find gold ore, you also find heavy metals and sulfides. And then, so when you grind that up to a powder fine consistency and drench it with cyanide, which is what they do for the gold production process, it leaches heavy metals and acid mine drainage.
And this is in Ontario?
It happens in Ontario, but it happens all around the world. 75% of the world's mining and exploration companies are actually based in Canada.
I do know that.
Oh, you do? Yeah, it's impressive. It's crazy. So that's what we're kind of here to protest is you know, what the TSX is funding, you know, what type of industry it's enabling, and what the effects are around the world. I mean, right now, there's actually no laws to prevent the abuse of human rights abroad, like of Canadian corporations. So there's this horrible thing where, you know, we say gold mining or uranium mining or whatever is going to have all these disastrous effects. But most often, I mean, like I run a website called protestbarrick.net, and it's an all-volunteer website. In the States, I'm a telecommunications lobbyist.
Could you repeat your website again?
Protestbarrick.net is the website, where it's a network of community groups and NGOs that are all organized against Barrick Gold. And so, you know, we have connections with people in Tanzania, Papua New Guinea, the United States, you know, a little bit in Canada, Chile, Argentina, Peru. You know, and there's this stuff happening all the time. You know, they have 27 mines worldwide.
What is this uranium in cottage country all about?
We don't want any of the mining in cottage country for uranium, especially the open pit mining.
What cottage country are you talking about?
We're talking all about right across from Ottawa, right through to Georgian Bay. So Halliburton's, Muskoka, Kawarthas, everywhere.
They're actually mining?
No, they're prospecting there. They're allowed to prospect for it.
So they're planning on mining if they find something.
Yep.
That's scary.
When the value of the uranium goes back up, they're going to start mining it again.
Would you like one?
My name's Suzanne Lawton. I'm the founder of Cottagers Against Uranium Mining and Exploration. I'm trying to protect all of Ontario from the uranium mining that is planned for cottage country Halliburton, just 2 hours north of Toronto. They're exploring for uranium, active exploration. They're planning open pit mines, and the radioactive dust from those mines will affect everyone in Toronto. Everyone here.
Incredible. In Halliburton, they're going to mine uranium?
Yes, in Halliburton. Tens of thousands of acres have been claimed by international mining companies in Halliburton, just east of my cottage, and just on some people's private land as well. They've claimed private land.
Halliburton is our water resource.
Absolutely.
Are you saying they're going to actually mine uranium on our major water resources?
Yep, we went with our local MPP, Rick Johnson, in May. We went to one of the exploration sites with Checks TV. We have TV coverage of that. And we went and saw 50 acres of the most beautiful, mature forest and river, absolutely destroyed. What the American mining company did is they took 50 acres and bulldozed 50 acres of mature forest to do their drills. And it's right on the riverside of the Irondale River, which is headwaters to Trent Severn Waterway. And they did it without environmental assessment and without...
How could they do that? Is that legal?
No environmental assessment is required for mineral exploration. Even though they took 50 acres and destroyed them permanently and did 400-foot deep drills for uranium samples, no environmental assessment was required.
And what happened to all the stuff they drilled up?
They just leave it. Nobody cares.
And
Nobody
that could be radioactive waste.
Absolutely, it is.
And they're just laying around in Halliburton.
It is just laying around, and there are holes that are exhaling radon gas. Absolutely. There's absolutely no environmental enforcement on the exploration whatsoever, and no concern. And our provincial government tells us not to worry, that it's safe. Open pit mining of uranium is not safe.
It can't possibly be.
No.
Do you have a website?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about it.
We're working with the local group. You can have this. We're working with the local group. This local group, Fight Uranium Mining Exploration, they've been fighting this for 3 years. Their own private land, their own land that they bought and sunk all their savings into, that has been claimed by international mining companies for uranium mining. And there's nothing they can do.
Private property, and they can't do a thing?
That's right, because they did not own their mineral rights. And they did not know that. They
don't know. Basically, if you own property in Canada, you don't own it at all, because they can just take it and mine it.
Some people do not own their mineral rights, and if they do not own their mineral rights, then they...
If I understand correctly, in order to have mineral rights included in it's a special clause.
I don't think you can buy them. I don't think you can buy them. And the other problem is the majority of the mining takes place on Crown land, which the province owns. And the province is very pro uranium mining.
That doesn't happen at all with the Toronto Stock Exchange. We don't fund any sort of destruction, no matter what this person says here. So, would you like to do some mining? Oh.
Let me see that money.
Here you go.
I recognize that person.
Yeah, we've now, TSX has actually started to run our own currency, and it's called Harper Bucks. And Harper Bucks are going to basically...
$0.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically how we value human life. No, wait.
It's inflation.
Whoa. Zero means how much we love everyone. And that's our answer for that one. No more questions.
I'll be happy to talk about it.
Are you part of this protest, or did you just happen along and see it, or what happened?
No, I'm part of this protest.
Yeah, and what brought you here? Why?
Well, I'm concerned about the fact that Canadian mining companies operate with impunity internationally, and that the Toronto Stock Exchange is financing them, and that there's really minimal regulation in place to prevent that from happening. So this is part of regulation, and we need this.
So we are taking the place of official regulators by informing the public. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's precisely what I'm saying. This protest is informing the public in a way that neither the media nor our government does. And this is the way we can bring about pressure that would actually ideally change laws.
And are you part of an organization, or are you here as an individual?
I'm here as an individual, but I do research on the oil industry.
You do?
So,
that's another whole ball.
Yeah, closely related ball of wax.
Okay, so this is a petition to Bob Ray, asking him to support a bill, a private member's bill that his own party has put forward through John McKay. Private member's bill is called Bill C-300. If this bill would become law of the land in Canada, we would be able to hold our Canadian mining companies to account in Canada for transgressions of human rights and environmental abuses that they commit overseas. So that's the point of the bill. Bob Ray is opposing this bill, and we want Bob Ray to hear that he needs to support this bill.
Who would we want to contact if we want to sign that petition?
Petition will be available on Mining Watch Canada website. That's miningwatchcanada.ca.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, you're a photographer, a freelance photographer.
That's right.
And you took these pictures here?
I took you see there's two sizes. Mine are the ones that are a little taller. Yeah, so this one, that one, and that one over there.
Other third world countries.
And you're here in support of this rally today?
That's right. I want to help. Basically, the reason I took these photos in the first place is to try to get the awareness out there, to try to let people know what's happening with these companies and the connection Canada has to these companies. And being Filipino myself, it's also a second reason that I'm a part of it, is that the Philippines is one of the main gold producers in the world. It has the second largest gold deposit, second largest silver deposit, and third largest copper deposit for its land area in the world. That's right. And 75% of the world's mining companies are based here in Toronto. So that gives me a dual incentive to help popularize this issue.
So, I heard you speaking Filipino over there.
That's right.
Are you raised in the Philippines and then moved here? Or,
I came here when I was 2 years old with my parents. Okay. So I came here in 1977 with my parents.
Have you relatives or friends in the Philippines that are being affected by this mining?
Directly, no. My family is mostly from Manila. Okay. So most of these mines are in the countryside. They're in the mountain areas or in the southern area in Mindanao as well. So indirectly, everyone is affected by this mine, both here in Toronto and in the Philippines. In the Philippines, it's a major economic issue because it allows for 100% profit repatriation, allows for 100% capital repatriation, 100% foreign ownership of the mines are allowed in the Philippines. They're given renewable 5-year tax holidays. So it's a major economic issue in the Philippines, as well as the human rights and environmental issue.
Well, this is a country that one of its, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, its major export is domestics.
Its major export right now is people.
That's what I mean.
Not just domestics, people. The unofficial government economic policy. Yeah, so for me, someone else was asking me earlier this question of what brought me to this in the first place. Mining for me is actually just one part of it. So again, with the whole Filipino and Canadian thing, I have dual incentives. And mining is just one part of this. It's the whole economic problems in the Philippines come down to the fact that there are no jobs. There is no real economy in the Philippines. And so because of these mining companies, for example, and this is just one example, because these mining companies are coming in, destroying the land, forcing people off their land, and destroying livelihoods. Because when their land is taken, the farmers lose their fields, the small-scale miners lose their mines, and so the people are forced to look for new work. And often, what they have to do is go abroad, and so that's why you're seeing such an influx of Filipino domestics as well as other types of temporary workers. The problem with this large-scale open pit mining, it's this large-scale mining that has this large impact on the health and the economy and on the human rights of the people.
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm sure glad to see you're here.
I thought it was cheese.
But you better find a pocket spot and come and join us.
All right, I will.
I'm done.
Either way. Mayu, give me the money. Give me the money.
Oh, what's this? Hey, let me have that money. I need money.